Rob,
yeah,
we got some more Street Fighter League action, and teams,
crazy.
These teams, what's going on here?
It's wild, bro. And this the first Street Fighter League for Street Fighter 6. So we've been waiting. We've been waiting to see how it's all going to shake out. And immediately, let's get into it with the squads, bro. All right, so the first squad that we're looking at, bro, Team Endemic. This is a surprising assortment of players. I feel like, Brian. I don't know
what this one.
Okay, yeah. What you think about? What you think about Endemic?
Because it's Team USA, baby. That's why I gotta be rooting for this one. I mean, it's half of the old CLG squad. Shout out to CLG. You know, I had was the one pulling the strings behind the scenes to recruit those players. We had Samurai and Chris CCH in here, and then Reynolds and Flash Metroid. Yeah, I got to admit, it was a surprise to see one Peter Sassini sneaking in there. You know, my old South Florida brethren right there, and then Reynolds. Actually, no surprise with Reynolds. I think maybe people who weren't paying attention to the nefarious things as JP was cooking up might be surprised, but I think Chris and Samurai have felt the wrath of his JP enough to know that they needed him on the squad.
Oh, yeah. I mean, bro, Reynolds is... I was put on to Reynolds at the CPT West personally, but that team definitely fired. But I'm interested to see how their chemistry would be, just because they don't have as deep as a storyline as maybe somebody like Team Bandits, bro.
Oh,
I mean, we didn't see this team for years on Street Fighter League at this point. DR's finest, and now of course they made a split from Team Nasser. Last year there was with Team Nasser. This year, of course, you got Mena, Kaba, then Xiao Hai, and Chris T. Chris T blew my mind. That pick is crazy.
That made sense to me. It
does.
Yeah. No, Chris T on there. The Xiao Hai one's one that threw me for a loop. I feel like they were sitting there cooking, like, okay, Mena and Kaba are like, okay, who can we pick up from the U.S.? Yeah, Chris. You know, he's been cooking with his Ken. He's been one of the most dominant players since Street Fighter 6 has dropped in the USA. We need a JP. They went across the world to get Xiao Hai. And, you know, Xiao Hai, I know he's been playing multiple characters as well. He's got a Ken and a Jury as well. So I feel like he's a player who can kind of fit whatever role they need him to play in that moment, playing lots of super strong characters. And then, you know, Mena has been so dominant. Kaba's been winning tournaments left and right as well. And I just feel like it's got to feel good to have like a Guile on your team. A good, like a JP or a Guile. I feel like you want one of those because it's like the characters that stops people from playing Street Fighter 6 and can chip away at like the mental stamina of the players as well. So I really like this squad. I like the dynamic they bring. Both Xiao Hai and Mena are super dynamic players. So I think they're going to do big things this season, like every season pretty much.
And then, you know, speaking of Guiles, Team UIU. Now, this one is so weird to say just because UIU was just a completely different team last year on 5, and they won, and now they have a whole new roster. We got to address the
elephant in the room, right? UIU and versus Vortex. They swapped out. Listen, when you have franchise teams, the players, they change the squads. That's how it works. You're rooting for the organization at this point. UIU comes back with a new cast of characters here. And some fan favorites, though. We got Knuckle Duel Kevin, Zen, and VX Bao all under one banner here. So this team busted.
That's ridiculous. Yeah, and of course, Dew started off Street Fighter 6.
Dew scares me. Dew is like I've been playing Dew a decent amount here in tournaments and in sets, and it started off I was able to play the game against him. I've won one set against him, and since then he's like never again. It's just the way he adapts and it keeps growing in knowledge. I play him these days, and I'm like I'm not involved. He's just been improving so much, and he was already so strong in the beginning. So Knuckle Dew, I'm looking at him as being like the guy, one of the guys right now in the beginning of Street Fighter 6 to go very far.
Yeah.
So not just Street Fighter League, I mean in general in this competitive season.
I agree with you.
So strong. Duel Kevin also has been stepping it up. I think towards the end of Street Fighter 5, he wasn't as
active.
He wasn't as active in the final season. But he's always been incredibly solid. But then now I think this game and Luke, his character, really complements him really well. I mean, like I said, he likes to bore you to sleep is my compliment to Duel Kevin, right?
Yes.
He just plays so slow and controlled, but he knows when to go in as well. And then but the chemistry with them and the new people on the team is going to be interesting. Shen and VX Bao.
Yeah, and bro, Zen, of course, the best Capcom Cup run ever. I'm not exaggerating, right, Brian? The best
LCQ
ever.
winner all the way to second place. Yeah, it's got to be.
That's unbelievable. So, yeah, we know how ridiculous he is. And VX Bow, we just saw him. Of course, he's been nice for years, even back in 5. But in 6, especially with JP, no less, I think he's reached a whole new level. And we've seen what he did at Gamers 8 as well.
This next squad, though, I got to say, might be my favorite. Red Rooster, an all PR team.
Red Rooster, your favorite squad.
I love teams that have a thematic element to it. You know, it's the all Puerto Rican team. I love the players on it. We got Mono, Ajax Fidelity, Banana Can, and PR Rog. I feel like there's like a little bit of everything here for anyone who enjoys Street Fighter, right? PR Rog coming out of retirements, like pseudo retirement. You know, he wasn't as active in the final. He was just Street Fighter 5, coming back in a big way in an organized league like this, something that wasn't around when he was in his heyday of competing in Street Fighter 4 and even in Street Fighter 5, really. So to see him come out and do that, and we already had the first episode air, and he was cooking. Like, he hasn't lost a step, he hasn't missed a beat. His jury is looking phenomenal. So I love to see that. And then Banana Can. That's my JP goat right there. Like, I'm trying to steal all the JP tech. Banana
Can's your JP goat. You said that before.
Sick.
You said that before.
So sick. I was so pleasantly surprised when I saw this roster announcement, because Banana Can has been a little bit under the radar. But you look at that leaderboard, the MR leaderboard. MR, I think, is a great metric to measure people's skill in this game. It's the best we've ever had in terms of a number ranking system, right?
Yeah.
He's been number 1 multiple times on that leaderboard. He's up there all the time. He's consistently winning. He's the nastiest conversions, nastiest tech. He's the most like technical JP that I have actually seen play, and I love to see that he's actually being represented. And then Mono and Ajax Fidelity, they've been carrying Puerto Rico for all these years throughout Street Fighter 5. To see them now pair with these two returning legends, really, from past years, is amazing to see.
Yeah, bro. Mono, man, I can't give enough respect and love to that dude. Like, of course, he's the person that's like he's pulling the strings with Red Rooster as far as putting a team like this together, and so much out there in Puerto Rico in general. And he's ridiculous himself. We've seen him winning CEO and smoking people in all these different events back in Street Fighter 5. So I know he's trying to do the same thing in 6. Red Rooster, yeah, the most thematic team in general. Actually, there is a strong storyline, as we alluded to, with versus Vortex.
Definitely. They're the returning champions.
They are. Okay.
Not the returning franchise, but they're the returning. They got the rings on their hand, is what I'll say.
That's true.
The franchise is still around, but the star players may have made some moves to play under a different name.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, when we look at the legacy, when we look at history and stuff, when we put a feather in people's caps, like, you know, you showing all the accolades, it's going to say Oil King, Shin, DCQ, NL, Street Fighter League champions, Evo Japan champions, stuff like that. Those are the guys. Those are the returning champs, at least as far as the players are concerned. I agree with you. And now we're about to see if they can do it again. Versus Vortex, I think it's just really cool that this team, if I don't know if you know this, Brian, but you know that's the same thing that Shin and Mike Ross content is called.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's
They're
like
making moves.
Yeah,
it's good to see.
Mike Ross and Shin actually put that together. So of course that's two legends in the scene, and those guys are returning champions. So we seen what they did last year. Team Nasser, bro. That's the last team that we have not brought up yet.
Broken.
Who in the world do we need to talk to about this? How?
You know, if this was like the NFL or the NBA, there's rules in place to prevent these sorts of things from happening in organized sports. But I think the budget knows no bounds for Team Nasser, and we have Angry Bird, Big Bird, Nephew, and Punk on a single squad.
That's crazy.
And to be fair, I mean, previously with Bandits, we also had Angry Bird, Big Bird, Mena, and Kaba under one squad.
That's crazy. I think this team is even better.
I actually agree. I do agree. But they've both been pushing that, like,
by far.
Who's gonna make?
Bro, Nasser
when is
just
Capcom gonna
keeps
implement
on.
some rule?
Who's Nasser gonna have next season, bro? Like, I just remember they had Problem X.
Tokido's gonna show up somehow. He's gonna leave Street Fighter League Japan and somehow just show up over here.
Bro, every single year the birds get better themselves. But right now, bro, let's keep it a buck with Nasser, man. They have all of these three, Nephew is nice too, but we know as Nephew is a A-tier player, these guys are S+, you know, like these other three on the team. All three of them might be top 5 players in the world.
Right. This is the first time. The only way this would be more broken is if you had Mena on the squad, right? Because then you would literally have 4 out of the top 5 performing players in the world right now.
Yeah.
These are just so consistently strong at the highest level. So I don't know how this came to be, but good luck everyone against Team Nasser.
Yeah, that team is ridiculous. And I'm interested in the storylines too, because Mena in the interview in week 1, he immediately throw the gauntlet down and says that they should have came back as Nasser Bandits. Like they were last year. So he's like, I don't know why they went to go get Punk instead. And he brought up the fact that Angry Bird beat him at Evo, of course, in grand finals. So he takes that personally as far as his own legacy. So he wants to make sure, outside of him winning, it's not about him winning. He wants to make sure Nasser doesn't win. That's not even me trying to RobTV it up, Brian. I swear. He really said that out his own mouth.
Listen, I know firsthand how it feels to have a chip on your shoulder, to feel like, hey, I wasn't good enough with how I've been doing. Let me show you what that looks like then. I'm not good enough, huh? So I think there's definitely going to be some friendly or otherwise rivalries going into this, and we'll definitely see that drive the action to the next level.
Speaking of levels, you are seeing the highest level of Street Fighter competition possible right now. Make sure you guys are tuning in every Wednesday to see Street Fighter League US, and of course make sure you guys are tuned in to Street Fighter League Japan and Street Fighter League Europe as well. This is all going to culminate in seeing who is the best team in the world at Capcom Cup.